Hey, gang. I'd like to speak to the proposal that I put in. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there, but by now you've all seen what the proposal is. I'd like to give a little bit of history behind this because I do think it's important. Title IX happened in 1970, early 1970s. That put girls and boys on par at a collegiate level relating to sports. Pre-Title IX, girls did not have access to sports in college or in high school or in elementary school the way that boys did. So the 50s, the 60s, all of that, girls weren't cultivating the sports skills that boys were. So to give an example, my mom in high school, to play the game of basketball, they played by a different set of rules. They didn't play full court basketball. They played half court basketball. They could only dribble the ball 3 times and then they'd have to pass. So you all know about skill development. We do this every single day with our youngsters. And back in the old days, if girls don't have access to sports the way that boys had access to sports, then girls were not cultivating and practicing the skills necessary for sports. So boys would always beat girls in sports because boys were the ones who were skilled at it. And so then we have all of these social pressures and social norms that boys are supposed to beat girls because boys are more skillful at sport. And it carries through to this day. You still hear little boys talking about how the expectation is to beat girls. Or you see some dads who are a little bit out of it saying that their son should beat the girls, right? That's old-fashioned stuff. We know from a science standpoint that 8 and 9-year-olds, U10s, girls and boys, compete on par skill-wise in terms of strength and all of that. And so to bring 8 and 9-year-olds together at the U10 age group and have boys compete against girls only benefits everybody. It puts the pressure on the boys. It puts the pressure on the girls, and everybody can rise up. So that's where it comes from, to kind of get out of the dark ages of gender. Remember most recently the stuff on Facebook of the girl who ran the Boston Marathon in the 60s and she was run out of town and attacked, and then she came back later and as a 70-year-old just recently and ran in the Boston Marathon. 1984, LA was the first time that girls ran a marathon in the Olympics. All of this is just taking time to catch up from these old social norms. As for competing within birth year, so that's just narrowing that gap of age disparity. It's not a 2-year gap any longer, it's a 1-year gap. And then have the kids race boys and girls together. That's where it's coming from. I think any argument to keep boys separate from girls competition-wise for 8 and 9-year-olds is old-fashioned, it's dated, we need to leave. We did this format for our Steamboat Cups all the way up through U14 age group, and podium spots were equal at U10s, U12s, U14s. So let's get modern. Let's do this for everybody's sake at the U10 level. And whether that's for all of our USSA races, great. If that's in sunlight for the U10 and U12 age groups, I think that would be fantastic. I think it also works well for what I've proposed for the U10 championships. Go big. Let's do this. Thanks, everybody.